So this branding thing, is there a recipe for it? Well, truthfully, there is. There's actually 5 really important kind of ingredients that need to go into the recipe. The first one is know thyself, like know who you are. We'll drill down to that in a minute. The second one is to know your audience. Who are your customers? Who uses you and why? And who doesn't use you and why? The third is to know your market and the competition. Who's already out there? Who's competing with you for these customers? The fourth thing is to know what makes you different, kind of at a really important benefit level, that benefit and value exchange that you have with customers, understanding that. And finally, you want to know your story. What is it about you that only you can tell? That uniqueness, that repeatable, that shareable story that's going to make you memorable. The first thing in the recipe is to know thyself. You need to know why you do what you do. You need to know how you do it. You need to know what it's going to take to keep doing that. Is it going to take more people, more money, or can you keep going the way you are for a while? Understanding the components of your business, how it operates, how it works, and what success looks like is a very important part of the equation. And knowing what you can do versus what everybody else is doing is an important place to start. The second part of the recipe is to know your audience. And I mean really know your audience, not just recognize a face now and then, know the difference between whether they take skim milk or whole milk. I'm talking about really understanding why your audience uses you. Why do your customers come to your store? Do they come to your store on their way to work? Because if so, promoting a lunch event would probably not be a very good idea. Ask your customers to tell you why they come to your store. Ask your customers to tell you what they like about your store or your business. Really understand why the customers use you, when they use you, and how they categorize you. Are you a good place to choose in a pinch? Are you somebody that they only use on special occasions because you're priced a little more expensively? Understanding where you fit in the ecosystem and understanding how your customers use you is a really important part of the puzzle. Know your market and the competition. Now, this is truly a flyby because I could spend all day talking about this. First, you want to understand what your category is judged on. What kind of currency are you measured on? Are you measured on how many new customers you add or some sort of a quality metric? The second thing you need to know is who is your competition? And are they your competition every day or only on Fridays or only at a certain time of the year? Small business has an enormous amount of seasonality to it. There's ups, there's downs, there's big bursts of activity. And you need to understand whether you need to manage yourself differently during different times of the year against different competition and against different category measures. This is one of the biggest mistakes that small business makes. They never decide what success looks like in the beginning. They never decide what that future market space that they're going to move towards might be, and they never decide how they're going to measure whether they've gotten there or not. So they really never know whether they've achieved what they set out to do. The fourth area of the recipe is to know how you'll differentiate. Now this is a little bit tricky because a lot of people will make up something, some sort of metric that's not believable. It's really important that you figure out how it is you're going to be special or different than the competition. And here's a little trick that people won't tell you. It's all about whether or not there is a baked-in benefit for the customer. If you do features to features-based selling, you're only going to have a competitive edge for about 15 seconds. You build in a benefit for somebody, that you're open hours that nobody else is open, that you advertise when you've got an opening on the web or on Twitter so that they can come and have an appointment on short notice, that you will discount your perishable items at the end of the day. These are things that have real value to people. When Apple introduced the iPod, they didn't say 50 megabytes in your pocket, which was factually accurate. They said 1,000 songs in your pocket, because they wanted people to understand the benefit of carrying around a music library. The fact that you could have the soundtrack of your life going on every day when you were riding the subway or riding the bus. So when you start to think about what it is you do, think about the benefit that it provides. If you make cupcakes for a living, you might be in the cupcake business, but I would suggest you're probably in the luxury business, or the secret snack business, or the sinning business, or the indulgence business. And maybe differentiating yourself on those terms will be far more interesting than doing a differentiation based on whether you have red velvet or you have chocolate. A big part of brand behavior is knowing your story. And you need to know your story and tell your story in a way that makes other people want to repeat it and be part of it. Even minimum wage employees love stories. If you tell somebody that you only put this much milk in something for this particular reason, they will start to live that, and they will start to tell other people that that is the reason you do it. Having a story is really, really important because it's the repeatable thing that your customers will share with other people. There was a great dental practice in Santa Monica, California, that was run by two dentists who were brothers. And they had decided that they wanted their practice to be a very family-oriented practice. And their sister was the receptionist behind the desk. And every quarter I would get a letter from their mother, supposedly, telling me what the boys had done to improve the practice recently. The whole brand behavior that they exuded, the whole storytelling was all about, you are a member of our family and we really care about you like we care about each other. And so all of the behaviors lined up for that and really made that true for that experience. Knowing your story and then deciding how you're going to bring that story to life, personally and through your staff, is a really important part of what a brand must do.